crispy chicken sandwich was in the mood, so that's what we're making today. Super easy. We're going to be doing some crispy chicken cutlets, a sun-dried tomato aioli. Comes together relatively fast and absolutely delicious, so let's get started. The first thing I'm doing right now is making my breading station. So I got 2 big Pelkins smoky meat chicken breasts, and I sliced them thin. So you can either pound them thin if you want to, but I just sliced them in half, and they're nice and thin, about, I'd say, 1/4 to 1/3 inch thick, because these are cutlets, so we want these to cook relatively quick. So I started my breading station here. We're gonna get these seasoned up, and in the pan over here I got some vegetable oil getting nice and hot. So over here I'm gonna go ahead and use my eggs, some flour, and some panko breadcrumbs, and we're just gonna bread these up and have them start cooking. So obviously we need to season up this chicken though, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit it nice and high with some salt, a little bit of pep. I'm just gonna make 2 to start with here, but I'll have the other 2 on deck here because we've got a hungry crew here this morning and they deserve some fried chicken. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and season this side as well. This is why I always go nice and up high, everybody. See that nice even blanket distribution? That's what we're looking for. I can't stand when there's chicken, when there's like pockets of seasoning somewhere. Get it nice and even. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna make some room here. We're a little tight. All right, first, we're gonna go into some flour. Just like that, and then shake off the excess because we don't want anything pasty going on there. And then right in the eggs. So the flour, you do the flour step because the flour helps it adhere to it helps the eggs adhere to the chicken. Otherwise they would just slide right off. So that's the last thing we want. And then I let the excess drip off and right into the panko. And I'm usually a shaker. I just like to shake it, make life a little easy. There we go. Get that in some nice hot oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, just something that has a high temperature. All right, get that right in there. Got a little bit of a sizzle. Let's do another one here. Seasoned chicken right in the flour. Get all that off. Now the egg will stick to it. Now, if you're making a bunch of these, have your oven preheated to 200 degrees, and that way all you have to do is throw them in the oven and they'll stay nice and warm and stay crispy and not overcook while you're making them. I often make this at home in batches, so I have to do that. All right, more panko. And you can get creative here if you want to add some Italian seasoning into it or anything like that. Please feel free. Sky's the limit. Make sure it's nice and crusty though. I want that golden crunch. It puts me in the best mood. All right, going in. All right, we're just gonna let these do their thing. Now, let's go ahead and make a really simple aioli, which is just a fancy word for flavored mayonnaise. So we're gonna do a sun-dried tomato aioli here. So first, let's go ahead and start with mayo. We need mayo for the mayo sauce. So we're gonna do some mayo. I am the biggest lover of mayonnaise. In culinary school, you had to make all your own mayonnaise. I have a deep, deep love. I basically only eat sandwiches because I just want extra mayonnaise going into my system at all times. So this mayo is delicious. I'm gonna add a little bit of Parmesan that I grabbed from Simon's. Give that a little stir, a good pinch of salt and pep. But then let's get some garlic in here. If you only have the garlic, that's okay. That'll work absolutely fine in this, but ignore the glove I'm wearing today. I managed to cut myself recently. So we're just gonna pretend you'd rather look at a glove than an ugly Band-Aid on my hand. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a little mince up if you're not using the garlic. Oh, chicken's already starting to smell good. Everyone out there knows I'm not the biggest chicken breast person. I think most chefs aren't. There's not a ton of flavor in chicken breasts. I'm more of a chicken thigh girl. But if you get me some good chicken breasts from Pelkins and then you fry them up golden, heck yes. I'm gonna take a peek at them real quick, because they don't take that long. That's why we got them thin. Ooh, hello. They're cooking a little unevenly, so I'm gonna give that one a little flip. How about you? Same thing. Golden on one side, not on that side. Give them a little flip around. Okay, so finally, kind of the star of the show here, we need to get these sun-dried tomatoes in here. And we're just gonna chop them up. See this sun-dried tomato oil? I never want that to go to waste. I love that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in this pan over here because I'm gonna griddle up some buns. That's not in the recipe. That's an a la minute decision right there, but I feel like that's gonna be a really good decision to griddle the buns in the sun-dried tomato oil. Why wouldn't we? All right, let's go ahead and give these a little chop. Just carefully run your knife through first. They can be a little slippery, so keep your fingers out of the way. And I can just tell by the smell, time to flip. Oh, heck yeah. Hi, honey. You're so pretty. All right, keep on cooking. All right, so now I just kind of like I do with my herbs or garlic, now I just run my knife through till it's nice and minced up. Very easy to throw all of this in a food processor as well. If that makes your life easier, do it. For me, I just really like to chop stuff. Puts me in a good mood, a little therapeutic. My husband loves this sandwich. He's learning to love mayo. I have to go much lighter. He gets like 1/10 of the amount that I get when I make a mayonnaise, when I make any kind of aioli. All right, that's going in the bowl. And then, just to freshen it up a little bit, got a little bit of fresh basil here. I don't need a lot, just a little bit to kind of brighten it up. The flavors are gonna go really well together. I'm gonna turn the heat down on this just a smidge because we need to cook that all the way through before it gets too brown. I'm just gonna chop up some basil nice and fine and stir that in. It's so easy. And then the best part is just keep this aioli in your fridge. Use it throughout the week for sandwiches, wraps, dips, a French fry in it, or a tater tot. Telling you, so good. All right, basil going in. Not waste any. We're gonna give this a good stir. Let me just wipe my hands real quick. All right, we're gonna give this a good stir. We're gonna MITG, make sure we love it. I love the color of it, the burst of flavor from the sun-dried tomatoes. Goes so well with that crunchy chicken. Let's taste it and see how we feel about it. What's it need? Nothing. It needs nothing. That is so delicious. I know I said to use the garlic if you want to, but that raw garlic in there gives it just a little bit of like a bite, like a little rawness, and it is delicious. All right, now I might as well get some buns going here in my sun-dried tomato oil. I might add a little more olive oil in there from the stock market. How you doing, friends? Ooh, look at that. Tell me that doesn't look fabulous. All right, let's cut up some buns here, and then we're gonna assemble. I just got some ciabatta rolls, but whatever you like. Do this one too. Now that I flipped the chicken over, we stopped at Simon's, got some of their provolone. Their provolone is fabulous. So I'm just gonna add some big shreds of provolone on the top here. Let that start kind of melting on. I love this sandwich because it really does come together so incredibly fast. Let that do its thing. Let's get this in here. Let these start griddling up. Now on deck, I've got some thick cut bacon from Pelkins. We love using their thick cut bacon. It is smoky. It cooks beautifully in the oven, nice and flat. So we're gonna assemble one here. All right, how you doing over here? All right, we got a little bit of a griddle on this. I'm gonna hit it with I do aioli on both sides because I'm a nut like that. So we're gonna do some aioli. We're gonna do a little handful of arugula. We're gonna get a piece of chicken, right? You know I'm gonna get a spatula for this one. We're gonna get a big old piece of chicken on here. Woo, let's go, honey. We're gonna get some bacon across the top and then give me the top of that griddled. Griddling makes all the difference on here. Look at that. Doesn't that look incredible? A little bit more of this on top. That is the most delicious sandwich that you need to make ASAP. I will post that recipe because it is delicious. I'm so excited to dig into this.